All right, guys, welcome to the Typical Sportsman podcast. We are at ATA 2026 in the 2-0 booth. We've got the man himself, Ethan Stubbs, big butt killer. Allegedly big butt killer. The definition of a deer land manager. No? Maybe not.
I kind of wear a lot of hats.
Okay. He's mediocre at everything, not great at anything.
Yeah. Pretty much. That's exactly right.
Yeah. Guys, we talk about managing your land, what to look for, how to better manage your land, what to be doing this time of year in order to be more successful in the fall. We get to hear about Ethan's successes and heartbreaks from this deer season. It's a really fun episode, and it's brought to you by our good friends over at 2-0, who make incredible gear. I have, and you can, maybe share you spend a lot of time in the whitetail woods, but here's what I can tell you about 2-0 is I have, busted through elk country with the 2-0, spent time in spring bears in the 2-0, pushed it just about any way you can in incredible heat, incredible cold. And it's just always performed. Right. And the pattern is sexual. Like, that's all. I don't even know what else to say about it. It's just a sexy pattern.
It's kind of a one brand fits all.
Yes.
It covers a lot of different things.
It 100% is.
It looks good in every terrain that I've had.
Yeah. And I kind of question the ability for it to sit in a tree stand. If I'm being honest, it is a Western technical line of clothing. But I went on a spring bear hunt, and when I got there, dude, I packed for 70 and sunny.
Yeah.
Spring bears. And I get there, and it was like a late season November hunt. It was 20 degrees and frigid cold. And I'm like, crap, dude, I'm going to die. But layered the pieces of 2-0 together, and I'm like, this works, dude.
Absolutely.
It's great gear. It works in everything. So go check out 2-0 and go to all their social media pages, because they've dropped some new stuff here at ATA, and you can go check those pieces out. But let's jump in with Ethan Stubbs and talk deer hunting.
For the true sportsman, it's more than a pastime. It's a way of life. Embrace the lifestyle of hunting, fishing, and the thrill of the wild. Live the life. Be typical.
If you're a hunter, you need to pay attention. And of course you're a hunter because you're listening to the Typical Sportsman podcast. One of my favorite products of all time, Ancient. They make moccasins, quiet moccasins for stalking, or stalkisins, if you will. These things are absolutely dead quiet. I put them to the test just by sneaking through the house to see if I could sneak up on my wife. And they worked. Shot bears with them, chased elk with them. I've shot deer with them. These things hold up. Why? Because they're 100% American made with real leather. Phenomenal products. They are making old school cool again. Guys, listen, if you like to stock up on animals, any kind of stalking, turkey hunting, bear hunting, deer hunting, elk hunting, if you want to get close to animals, you have to walk quietly. I would highly, highly encourage you to go check out Ancient. That's ANXYNT. These are the coolest shoes you'll ever wear. I even rock them. I rock them as everyday drivers. Just headed to Walmart because they look stinking dope. Guys, go check them out. Use code Typical Sportsman. It's going to save you 10%, which doesn't sound like a lot, but here's what I'm going to tell you. You're not going to find a discount on these anywhere else. Go check out Ancient. Get you a pair of the baddest shoes you've ever owned and walk quieter and get closer. Ethan Stubbs, how the heck are you, man?
Good. How are you doing?
Better than I've ever been. I never feel sorry for a dude when they're like, oh, I left, a hunt camp to come into ATA. And I'm like, oh, you poor guy. Where are you at?
So one of the tree stand companies we work with, they booked like a late season doe hunt at Willow Creek Outfitters. We know the outfitter really well. And so we kind of had like a camaraderie camp get together.
That's cool.
And those guys are doe hunting right now. And then me and Jared rode together. So we decided just to slip up here to the ATA for today and tomorrow. And then we're going to head back down and hunt with them, I think Saturday evening.
Very cool.
Then we'll head back to Iowa after that. But.
Yeah. So we're at ATA in the 2-0 booth and just hanging out and going to chat some deer hunting. With that being said, though, give us an introduction to yourself, man. How long you been doing this? How'd you get started? All that good stuff.
Yeah, so I guess my name is Ethan Stubbs, like he says. I'm 24 years old, and I've probably been in the outdoor industry, quote unquote, for the last 5 years. I started in the industry as an intern for Midwest Whitetail.
Okay.
And when I was there, I was tasked on filming Jared Mills for a year. Fell in love with the video creation. I mean, obviously, I love to hunt as much as anyone I know, and so I knew that it was something that I wanted to turn into a career. So filmed Jared and kind of had some opportunities at the end of the internship. You know, did I want to go back to school? Because I was only 19 at that time. Did I want to stay working with a Midwest Whitetail or a different media company? And ultimately decided just to go back to school, finish my degree. And in the meanwhile, I was introduced to Bill Winke. And then Bill and I hunted together for 2 years. And then after that, I've been on my own, doing all my own video production and working with my own partners for the last 2 years. So
that's cool, man. It's super. It's almost it's almost exactly like identical to my story. So I got married real young. So we got married in college.
Yeah.
And so I realized like, okay, I got to get a big boy job. Like this isn't, you know, I can't just.
Right.
I have to have a job. You know, I'm married now, and so. But in college, that's hard. I mean, to have a good job. And so I started like searching around like, okay, what am I going to do? And obviously I loved hunting, loved bow hunting. And so I'm like looking for open positions, and it says Oklahoma archery on this like job posting. And I'm like, what is this? And so like, little did I know this place was just tucked in the back of almost a neighborhood, but it was the second largest archery distribution company in the world. And so I was like you roll up and it's a room this big, and
really
it's all the archery equipment you could ever dream of. And so like I go there for my interview and I'm just like walking around. I'm like, oh my gosh, dude, like this is mind blowing.
Right.
And so honestly, the job sucked. Like it was, you know, bow shops would send their orders in. You'd run down the aisles and pull, you know, 5 packs of lighted nocks, 10 packs of broadheads, you know, ship it off. But I was still, I'm like, I'm working in hunting. Like that's what I thought, you know, like,
that's right.
Oh, I'm making my living hunting, you know. And then, you know, they called one day, and they did have a bow shop on the other side of town. And I knew about the bow shop. It was a good bow shop. And they called one day and they're like, hey, we need somebody to come work in a shop today. We're shorthanded. And I'm like, sign me up, dude. Like I'm in. And after that day, I remember asking the boss, I'm like, can I please just stay over here? Like, that sucks picking orders. But like here, I'm actually bows, hands-on, building bows for people. And I just decided then, I'm like, I don't ever want to look back. You know what I mean? Like I want to keep pushing forward in this. Well, like I said, because it was a big company, you know, a lot of dudes would come in and get their bows worked on, a lot of big names. And, you know, I would be in class and get a text message and they're like, oh, dude, the whole Major League Bowhunter crew's here. And I'm like,
got to get back.
Like I just run out of class, you know, and they're like, where are you going? And I'm like, they called me into work, you know? Yeah,
that's the thing that's kind of unique. Probably you're the same way. You know, a lot of the people I know, they don't know like what their passion is.
Right.
They don't know what they want to do with their career. And I feel like for me, this is all I've ever wanted to do was some way be involved in hunting and find a way to be in the stand as much as I possibly can. And so it was really a no-brainer. I mean, when that internship opportunity came up, it was an unpaid internship. They cover your room and board basically. But it wasn't, you know, you weren't getting paid an hourly rate or a salary or anything like that. And we worked hundreds of hours a week as hard as we could because like we knew the opportunity at hand and what it could turn into. And this is what I love to do more than anything. And, you know, I'll go do it for free. You know, I love it that much.
Well, and that's the cool part about the generation that we grew up in. And I'm 33, but even for me, like there were pioneers in the industry long before me to where like when I was coming up, like I knew it was possible, you know?
Yeah.
A lot of these guys, like a lot of those guys that we look up to, your Bill Winkies and your Waddells and, you know, you name it. they didn't even know you can make a living at this.
No.
Like, but we grew up having watched those guys, and like we knew like, okay, I can make a career in the industry that I love.
Yeah.
And so that's what's been really cool. And so, you know, I try to always tell those guys thank you, and even Justin from Bowhunter Die yesterday, like, so they do, not to be offensive, but like, he's not that much older than me, but still, like when I was in high school and college, I was watching your stuff.
Yeah.
And it made me realize like, okay, dude, you can talk about hunting for a living. Like that's incredible. And so I appreciate those guys. I appreciate the work they put in, the time and effort and energy. And we are going to get to talking about whitetails, but I just kind of wanted to pick your brain on, you know, how you got started and where you're headed with it. So with that being said, what does the future look like for you? Like what's your aspirations?
I think my aspirations are just to find and hunt the biggest deer that I can every single year. You know,
good aspiration.
I mean, I have a ton of hunting goals in terms of, you know, chasing big game animals all over North America.
Yeah.
But really whitetail is what I love.
Right.
You know, I've done elk, I've done mule deer. I've been all over the world filming hunts, and all the time I come back to just how much I love the cat and mouse game of whitetails.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, they've been kicking my tail lately, but I mean, it's still so much fun to play the mind games with them. And so from here on out, it's just, how do I improve whitetail habitat to make the deer want to stay on the farms that I can hunt? You know, how do I buy my own farm is kind of where I'm at right now. And then, you know, just increasing that and making it the best that it can be to continue hunting and chasing big deer.
So you are I don't even know what the term I want to use. A management focused guy.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, the more I'm doing this and the more I hung around Jared and Bill and all those guys, the more I realized how much, you know, obviously you hunt all fall, but the work that is done in the spring and in the summer, you know, to be successful. And so last year is really the first year that I've been able to, I guess 2 years ago was the first year I was able to implement some of those management practices on the farms that I actually hunt.
Yeah.
And those are mostly all either permission farms or just leases for bow hunting. It's not like, you know, they're all less than 200 acres.
Yeah. So first off, I appreciate that. Like, I think that's really cool. And don't get me wrong. Like, I love what like the hunting public does and those guys. But, you know, and I actually asked the last time I had Zach on, which wasn't that long ago. And I asked him, I'm like, so when do you want to, like, do you ever see yourself doing that, buying a farm and growing deer? And it was almost like the more mature is not the right word, because that would indicate that if you hunt public only, you're immature, which is not the case. But the more I develop in this, like, yes, I'm starting to do more of that.
Right.
And he's like, and I'm actually like, you know, like I don't show that stuff because it doesn't really fit our channel, but I'm actually doing a lot of that kind of stuff now. And so I value guys that can look at a property and say like, okay, I want to work on this property, not only to grow bigger deer, but to help the turkeys and the pheasants and the quail and, you know, the butterflies and squirrel, like just create a better habitat.
Well, I think it's a way that we as hunters can actually give back to the
100%.
You know, it's, you know, you shoot a deer, that deer is dead. It's not coming back, you know, but if you can, I mean, this is kind of cliche, but if you can, you know, make a deer have a more comfortable life or a better, you know, livelihood of where he's going to, you know, feel less stressed, be able to throw his biggest rack at, you know, total maturity. Think about all the deer you helped on the way up and turkeys and, you know, everything. It's
100%. And that's what, like, it's so hard. Here's where I'm at. And I'll just be honest, you know, where I'm at is it's such a big commitment because you're realizing, like, dude, these trees I'm planting, I'm never going to hunt over.
That's right.
Like, but I'm doing this so my grandchildren have a phenomenal whitetail spot.
Right.
And that's why it's such a long-term commitment. It's not like, okay, I'm going to plant 50 trees and next season I'm going to be shooting booners. Like, no, you're going to plant trees and then in 50 years you'll be shooting booners. Well, and that's what
it's the instant gratification thing.
100%.
In terms of land management, there is no instant gratification. You know, the society wants to see that so much.
Right.
They want to see a reel go viral. They want to see something go viral. They want that instant success. But in terms of land management, you're setting the stage for, you know, your kids, your grandkids, your hunts 5 years from now. You know, a lot of times the management practices you do year one, they aren't successful because the deer are unused to that on the property. And so it just goes back to that, you know, delayed gratification. And fallen in love with the process of growing deer and then hunting them. So,
well, and that's where, and I don't want to get off on this rant. I knew it was coming, like based off of what I've seen in the last two weeks. I knew it was coming. But people want to trash, your Lee and Tiffany's and your Waddell's and you name it, Mark and Terry. Like they want to bash these guys because, like, well, dude, yeah, if I hunted on your farms, I could kill mega giants too. Like, and then now, whether it was a cocky statement or not, everyone I'm sure heard the statement that Lee made. If I've got a 2.5-year-old, give me an hour and I'll go kill him.
Right.
Everybody loses their mind. And I was actually talking with Scott Evans, who made the video that said, basically calling him out. No, it wasn't Scott. Anyway, somebody made this video basically trashing the guy for saying it. And here's my frustration with that. Those dudes have put in decades of work on their farms.
That's right.
Like, that's something that it's not like if I had your farm, you could have his farm. You got to go work.
That's right.
I mean, you got to be dedicated to making it happen.
Have the same opportunities that he's had.
Right.
And the thing about it, I didn't see that statement, and I believe Lee. Like, I wholeheartedly
100%.
believe Lee. That's
100%.
exactly what would happen. I've hunted in Montana with Lee. I was filming him. He is 100% whitetail all the time.
Yeah.
I believe him wholeheartedly.
Yeah, 100%, dude. Like, and you hear those guys talk, like, in March, they're thinking about their whitetails.
That's right.
In July, they're thinking about their whitetails.
It doesn't matter what time, 100%. What day. It's all day long, every day of the year. It's just impressive to be around people like that have the confidence, but have also put the work in to have the confidence.
Yeah.
It's not like he's just making a claim that, he has tons of evidence and video evidence of how successful he's been. So, I don't know why it was such an uprising. It's like, we've watched Lee kill how many 200-inch deer?
Right.
Why do we not believe him now?
Yeah. And again, that's why I say, like, was it a cocky thing to say? Yeah. But you've earned the right to be cocky.
Right. Yeah,
like,
that's exactly right.
I mean, you are.
He's proven it.
And I'm not saying Lee's one of the best hunters in the world. He's one of the best whitetail hunters in the world.
Definitely. Yeah.
Like,
definitely.
and being that I work in the world of Pope and Young, everybody always wants to ask me, like, who's the best hunter you've ever met? And I'm like, loaded question. Talking whitetails, you talking blacktails?
Right.
You talking whitetails, you talking mule deer, elk?
Yeah.
Pheasants, quail? Like, what are we talking? You can't just say best hunter in the world. And I believe that Lee is one of the best whitetail hunters to ever live.
In terms of that question, so like Joe Rogan talks about it a lot. Like, if you locked the best fighters in the cage, who's coming out? So if you were to drop, you take whoever you think is your best hunter in the world, drop them on an island, who's killing the biggest, most mature animal?
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of how I would look at that.
Yeah, 100%. That's actually exactly how I define that is when I think of who the best hunter I know is, I don't think of, who's got the new world record or who did this or who did that. I think of somebody, could I drop you off in an area you've never been?
That's right.
You've never seen it. You've never scouted it. And you're going to come out with an animal.
Yep.
That's how I look at who is a good hunter.
Who's on your list?
Oh, man. Probably people we've never heard of.
I would agree with that. I think
like Frank Noska, which he is a legendary hunter. And again, like, never heard of him. But then I think the best hunters, like, we don't hear from because they don't care about this.
That's right.
Like, they just get out there and do it.
That's right.
But again, I mean, we can look at like best whitetails. I would put Lee and Tiffany up there. I would put, Mark and Terry up there for sure.
Yep.
Best elk hunters, Casey Brooks. I mean, like him, love him, or hate him, disagree with his new world record or not. I mean, dude's proven it.
That's right. He's got a lot of bulls.
So, anyways, yeah. With that being said, you made an interesting statement. Like, it's a year-round process. That being said, it's January. So many people hit the brakes and like, well, my season's over.
Right.
I'm gonna take a break. What are you focusing on January? Like, where's your mind go?
Right now, it's kind of just maybe like take a step back and just breathe and, take a time to just appreciate the season that we just had. Because I feel like so many times you sit in the sand and you just get worked up. You're like, man, I'm not having the success that I want. Yeah. Everyone else is killing bucks on Instagram. So now I kind of take time to like actually reflect on the season. And I'm really thinking to myself, okay, what did I learn? What did I do wrong? And, how can I improve for next year? And a lot of that stuff it goes back to the habitat work. So, this year is the first year I had food on my main lease. And so I'm looking at why wasn't that successful? Is it the bedding? Is it the fact that the deer just didn't know the food was available at that point of the year? So I'm just taking this time to reflect. I still have all my cameras out. As soon as I get back to Iowa, I'm going to start to supplemental feed, do like a high protein mix of corn and put some alfalfa out as well, just in, hopes of finding some of these sheds that'll be dropping pretty soon.
Yeah. Do you run cameras year round?
There's February and March, I usually don't.
So you don't want to see when they're dropping and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know why. I have no reason to not run cameras then, but I would say pretty much the rest of the year I do. And I run them for turkeys. And a lot of that used to be because of battery life, but
yeah.
Now pretty much doing all solar panel batteries has changed that to where I don't have to go through so many batteries.
Right.
I can just leave the cameras out. I feel like it's less intrusive that way.
Yeah. No. And now they make these, battery packs and
that's right.
And I'm not sponsored by any trail camera company, but like the Moultries, like I can just charge this battery pack, drop it in. It's going to last for, a month and a half, 2 months. And, the other ones are charging and then you just swap them out. Like I don't have to spend that money on batteries. So it definitely helps that. I have had a long time love for Garmin products, and for good reason. When it comes to smartwatches, when it comes to GPS wearables and handhelds, when it comes to devices to stay in touch with my friends and family when I'm off grid, there's just simply nobody that can compete with Garmin. Here's the best part. They make something for everybody in every price range. So whether you're looking for something like the Instinct, which is one of my favorite watches of all time, it's incredibly well built. It is priced phenomenally, but it is also just as tough as nails. You could throw that thing through a meat grinder and it's going to come out just like the day you bought it. All of that, and it still offers me all of the GPS features that I need when I'm on the mountain, still offers me all of the cool smartwatch features that I want when I'm in the office or at the gym or tracking my sleep habits. And then you move up to something like the Tactic series, which has ballistics built into it. It's got lights built into it so that you can use it as a flashlight around camp. It has full color GPS maps. Guys, Garmin has something for you. And then you move on to something like the InReach, which is the best thing that you could ever have to stay in touch with friends and family when you're off grid. Let me tell you something. Mama likes getting text message when I'm on the mountain just to tell her that I'm safe and that I love her. But it also gives her an incredible peace of mind knowing that that little device in my hand, if something were to happen with the touch of a button, I can let her know where I'm at. I can also alert rescue teams to let them know where I'm at. Guys, I literally trust Garmin with my life. And then as far as the bow shop goes, they make the best chronographs that you could ever get your hands on. Guys, here's what I'm going to tell you. Whether you're looking for a new wearable to just get smart notifications when you're in the office, or a new wearable to track your sleep habits and your workouts in the gym, or whether you're looking to go off grid with full color GPS maps, Garmin has a wearable for you. They also have a full line of handheld GPS and devices to stay in touch with friends and family. Guys, go check out Garmin.com because I have never one time went wrong with the Garmin product. As far as like what kind of efforts you are looking to put into your land over the next couple months, but also what kind of efforts should other people be looking at? Like, what are you looking to do now to benefit the fall?
So, I mean, first things first, what I'm going to start doing is I had a brassica plot that I worked last year for the first time, pretty much virgin soil. I'm going to go out there and now that it's tilled, it's clean, everything, I'm going to frost seed clover into it and turn that into a big 1 acre clover plot. And then I'm just drawing up plans for, when we're going to be planting grain here in, late April, May, even into June. So I'm going to do frost seeded clover and then beans surrounding. The effort that's where the effort is for me. I love to scout this time of the year too, especially after fresh snow. You can see exactly how the deer are using the property. You can find where they're bedding, why they're bedding there. You can see our preferred wind directions and everything like that as well. This is really just a good time of the year. It's where you can be intrusive, whether it's shed hunting or it's like the season's out. You have 9 months before you can hunt. So if you're going to blow deer out, I think you should do it now. and then, learn as much as you can, use Onyx or whatever your mapping service is. And then that way, when the fall comes, you can understand your property better.
So that leads me to ask two questions. How do you decide what to plant where?
I think it's just personal preference.
Yeah, okay.
I've struggled with brassicas just because my soil, the soil levels just aren't where they need to be in terms of growing big, palatable brassicas. And so I've really fallen in love with clover. A lot of the spots that I hunt are high deer density, and the food plots get a ton of browse. And so clover's hardy and it comes back year after year, which makes it nice. It's browse resistant. And so I'm a big fan of clover. It's low maintenance, and deer absolutely love it.
Okay. How do you compete with, because I live in Kansas.
Yep.
So how do you compete with 1 acre food plot versus here's 460 acres of beans?
Right. I think yeah, that's the tough part. You just have to hope that the deer are, whatever you have is the preferred food source for the deer. Obviously, your 1 acre food plot is not going to be destination ag. It's going to be maybe a staging area. Maybe it's a spot that they feel that, they can go feed at 2 in the afternoon because it's so secluded. It's close to bed. And then, they'll travel longer distances going to destination ag.
The reason I ask is because I am new to this. I haven't gotten into that part of everything yet.
Yeah.
And reason being, I haven't had the time, effort, and energy.
Right.
Leases. Oh, that was that'll lead me into that question actually, and we'll get back to my journey on this. When you're just leasing a property, how much effort do you really try to put into it? Because you're like, well, if I lose the lease in 2 years, it doesn't matter.
I just put my best foot forward. Like, what I'm after is I'm trying to have the best hunting experience I can. And knowing that it's not going to last forever, I think, usually how I pitch it to the landowners is, talk about how much it improves their property, not only habitat wise, but value wise, if they're going to sell the property, having a property food plots versus having bare land. But yeah, I just put my best foot forward and try my best. And I know it's not going to last forever. I know it can get taken from under me at any point. But at the same time, when you're sitting in the stand in October and you're thinking, man, I should have put a food plot there, or hey, I should have, done this or that. It's like, I hate to, regret is what I don't like.
Well, that's been the hardest part for me is like, okay, how much time, how much effort, how much money do I really want to pour into this?
Right.
Because I lose properties all the time, and it's like, okay, I've hunted here for 2 years, and then, somebody from Texas comes in and pays an ungodly amount of money, and I'm not just picking on Texas, but what I mean?
Yep.
An out-of-state hunter comes in and offers money I can't come close to matching.
Yeah.
And it's just like, so I did all that for nothing.
Right.
And that's the hard part for me. However, I the more I think about it, and here's where I'm at on my journey. My in-laws have a little 5 acre piece.
Mm-hmm.
You ever hunted Kansas?
Yes, I hunted there this year.
Okay. Well, we'll get into that in just a minute then.
Yeah.
But my in-laws place is very unique because it's a 5 acre wood plot, basically.
Yeah.
That's surrounded by ag. And so it's always been like decent hunting. It's not been great. This year was actually the first year I've ever even went and set, just because it's never been incredible.
Right.
But the more I've looked at it, I'm like, dude, this is secluded in bedding, and if I put a little food plot back here, it could be mind-blowing.
That's right.
So, that's why I asked, because it's like, all right, well, they've got winter wheat, they've got beans, they've got corn, they've got all this ag around them. Like, what could I plant here to really benefit me?
Right. Well, I think you got to zoom out and look at the area from a 30,000 foot view and say, okay, this is what the area has. What is the area lacking? What can I do right now? Even if it's 5 acres, 1 acre, anything. Like maybe the area is lacking thick bedding cover. Maybe it's lacking thermal cover. Kansas, I know, has a ton of cedars. So that's probably not the case. But that's what I always try to do is, how do I make this a hub for deer that they're going to want to be here, and then that it can recruit deer and attract deer all year long.
You do any water holes?
I did my first one this year.
How was that?
I saw some success with it. I think it took them 2 weeks to find the water hole. I just, like, whatever I do, I just try to do as cheap as humanly possible. Like, I rent a tractor from Ace Hardware when I'm doing my food plots. I try to, like, skate by as cheap as I can with pretty much everything I do. So I just went to the farm store, bought a 50-gallon Rubbermaid tote, and filled it up with water once. It took the deer probably, 2 weeks to find it. And they had it gone, 50 gallons of water gone in probably a month. And then I was able to go back in early October, fill it back up, and it's gone again. So they definitely love it. I saw more success in terms of does hitting it, but obviously the bucks are going to be around the does at some point in the season.
Interesting. Yeah, I tried it one time, and it was like when it dried out, I'm like, oh, crap, I didn't think about that. How do I get water back in there? Like, I can't just pipe water into there.
I've thought about, and I've even tried it, trying to make like a runoff. So when it rains, the water can funnel into it. I haven't had any success doing that, but I mean, I think you either get a huge water tank that's super expensive, or you just have to bite the bullet and say, hey, I'm going to have to, bring water in here once a month for these deer to train.
Interesting. So with that being said, with all that, like, when you go to attack this property, like you said, 30,000 foot view.
Right.
So maybe, somebody's looking at picking up new pieces. They're looking at, I've had this piece for a while. It's time I actually start pouring into it,
right?
Which is where I'm at. So I'm asking it that way. When you take that 30,000 foot view, like, what are the things that really stand out to you as far as like, okay, this has to happen here? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of a loaded question.
It's a big question, but I just want to give some sort of guidance to like, what should I start looking for if I want to do this?
Right. I mean, what I'm looking for is how do I make this area the hot spot? One, does the area have bedding? Like, especially in your situation, you look at it, there's food all the way around it. You have cover crops, you have destination ag. Okay, where's the bedding at? Where's the deer's preferred bedding at on a northwest wind? And, okay, if you have 5 acres, maybe you could do a hinge cut on half an acre or something, and you can position yourself between that bedding and the food, for a northwest wind to when you can get in there and hunt it, and pick off these deer when they're the most vulnerable. I don't know if that answers your question or not.
And again,
each situation is different because the composition of the farm, the composition of the entire area, the terrain, there's so many factors that go into, one farm needs, another farm won't, and, vice versa.
Gotcha. So going back to, I told you that what you said triggered 2 questions in me. How do you go into this time of year? Well, I don't even know how I want to ask it. What changes about a deer's patterns and all that stuff from now till the season? Like,
I think it's the availability of food. I think that right now food is so sparse in timber. There's not a lot of browse. They're moving or traveling miles to get to destination ag, where there's maybe corn, standing corn plot, maybe grain left over on a cut corn field. And then slowly, as the, deer are herd animals, but as the weather starts to get, a little bit nicer, they're going to start to disperse. There's more food that's available in terms of browse, woody browse. Some of the leaves are going to start greening up. So the deer don't have to be concentrated on one point. They can slowly disperse and disperse and disperse. And, as the fall comes, the does are going to have their doe bedding groups. The bucks are going to have their bachelor groups, in August. Yeah. And then, they'll kind of switch depending on the hierarchy of their herd, and develop their own ranges at that point.
Well, the reason I asked that is because I've gotten that question before of like, what's the point of scouting now? Because everything's going to change when it's time to hunt them.
Yeah. I think it's for late season. I mean, I think you scout now to understand, one, how your property is being utilized at right now. And it's like, okay, you might be able to even look at it and say, like, okay, you're walking through the snow, right? You can see the trails. Well, you also are seeing rubs. You're seeing old scrapes. You're seeing things that the deer are using in their rut that you can still hunt over. Plus you're learning a ton about late season and potentially how to make your farm better that way as well.
And then the other question it triggered, and I do want to get to kind of your stories of your season and how successful you were and all those, that the fun stuff people actually want to hear. How does shed hunting play a role in what you're doing and how you're doing it?
Oh, I love shed. I mean, I'll go hunt. I just love shed hunting so much. I'll go hunt properties I can never hunt just to maybe pick up big size. Some guys go by, if you find their shed, you're going to shoot them the next year. And that's not necessarily been the case for me, just in terms of, deer are congregating right now. It's a big ag. because that's the only available food.
Right.
And, and come fall, at least where I hunt, where there's a whole bunch of timber, the deer are going to disperse. They're not going to be in the same spots that they are in the wintertime. But I just do it more as a passion thing. And going and, just going and taking a walk in the woods in February when there's nothing else to do, it's hard to do.
So that doesn't actually, for you, shed hunting isn't it's not a way to help you kill more deer. It's just because you love it.
Yeah, I would say, it's part of the journey. It's part of the story. You pick up this match set or whatever, the big 4-year-old you were passing all year. It's part of it that way. But I haven't found myself in a situation where, I pick up the sheds like, oh, the deer was right here the whole time and this is where I'm going to hunt it.
Yeah.
And, maybe I should. Maybe it's more effective than what I think. I haven't had any luck doing that yet.
What's your tips for shed hunting? They want to find more sheds. How do they do it?
Piles. Put the miles on the boots. There's no.
Where should they be targeting sheds? Where the deer are.
Yeah, because the deer are. Seriously, bed to food. That's where I look. Go look where the available food is, where the deer are herding up. Go find a whole bunch of them and get somewhere between where they're bedding and where the food is. And right now, it's a good time because you can see where they're bedding.
You
walk in the snow at least, and it's carved out. It's like, okay, there's no secret around them. I find a lot of sheds in beds where they're hanging out, browsing in their transition area. And then, a lot of times on field edges, anything like that.
I have found more sheds on fence rows than anything else.
That's right.
Because when they jump, it just knocks them off.
Right. And they love edge too. A fence row, especially in Kansas, those deer are going to use that fence row as cover. And so that's just a natural spot where they're, continuously walking. Yeah. And so, anywhere where you can get a high volume of deer to go through one spot, I think there's always going to be sheds in or around that area. Yeah. So what was your season like, man? It was a roller coaster. Isn't it always? Like this year was crazy. I have a kind of an incredible story of whatever, but last year I was hunting a 200 all season long. Really didn't. It was tough. I had him all summer long. He was on camera every single day. What state is this in? Iowa. Okay. He was on camera all day long, every day in the summer. Super comfortable. I did a ton of work to the farm to hopefully keep him because I knew he had a big range, but I knew if I could get food in the area, and they just logged the farm, so I knew there was going to be natural bedding. And I was looking at it like, food is what this farm needs. So I was able to put it on there, and season comes along, and that deer is a ghost. And he's gone. Never had a picture of him during the season at all. And I just spent so much time and resources hoping that he was just going to come back at some point. Yeah. But he never came back. He actually got shot 3 miles north of where I can hunt. So it's just crazy how far he was traveling. How did you find out he got shot? Just through a friend of a friend, really. I guess I got sent a picture of the deer. And I still remember sitting in the tree stand the day that he got killed, and the wind just went out of my sail like nothing I've ever experienced. I put so much time and effort into that deer. And, I was purposely secretive about him. I didn't want to show too many people. I knew a lot of people knew about him. I didn't want to potentially lose the spot I was hunting. And so, I never made any episodes about it. I didn't do anything. And so this off season, I'm going to make more of a long form story about the hunt for that deer and how that went. Because last year I was actually looking for sheds, and I found another set of 200-inch set of sheds side by side on the same lease. Oh. And so I had two 200-inch deer on this 200-acre farm in Iowa, and at the same time. And it was incredible. Make sure and send me the I'll send you a drop to that. The crazy thing is like I said, those deer came in because of food that was in or around that farm. But during the season, those deer were gone. Whatever the reason was, the social hierarchy or pressure or whatever, they left. And got killed. How does your focus change? And I know that there is that roller coaster of emotion of crap, I've put so much effort into that deer, but how does your focus change? Knowing all right, the deer I've been chasing is gone. I think I was realistic about how low my odds were to kill that deer because he was gone. The year before, as a 4-year-old, he's probably 190 inches, tons of trail cam pictures, tons of videos. And he was on the farm every once in a while. I sat like, I think it was 56 sits for that deer. I never saw him one time. And so I knew it, but like as soon as you started losing hope, he would like make a trail cam appearance.
Yeah.
And, you know, but this year I knew it was a real slim chance. And after he just disappeared, I'm like, man,
Somebody killed
someone, you know, he's on someone else's property or he died of EHD, you know, or, you know, your mind just goes to the worst.
Yeah.
So at that point I'm thinking, you know, what's the next best thing? What's next? You know, it's like, I still want to have a good hunting experience. I'm not going to sit here and mope around about this deer all year long. And there was a nice buck, 155 incher that was on the lease. It's definitely not a 200 incher. You know, it's kind of hard to get excited about that, but you know, I just love to hunt no matter what deer it is. So.
How do you balance the knowledge of there's a big buck in here, that's the one I want to kill, and not getting too obsessed to where you lose the joy of the hunt? Because
it's tough. It's really tough.
It is.
It's really,
and I do a terrible job of it.
Yeah.
Like, just so everybody like is fully aware. I am the worst about that. My hunt, I almost tell my wife, like, I get so obsessed over the one buck that I'm like, I honestly don't want to know that there's a big buck.
That's
like,
right.
Because it ruins the entire season for me.
Right.
Like, well, here, I'll tell you, I'll share this story with you. So this buck that I was hunting all year long, I had an encounter with him. I was hunting with a recurve this day.
Right.
And I'm walking to my stand. I climbed the stand and I heard, he just walked, he followed me in pretty much.
Really?
Heard my footsteps, you know, wanted to come see what was going on.
Right.
And so he literally follows me in. So I get in my stand and I turn around and he's at 32 yards. And I'm like, dang it, where's my compound? That was the first thing that went through my head.
Yeah, no doubt.
And then secondly, so I see where he goes. Yeah. And he just kind of skirts around. And he gets to the end of the property where I'm like, all right, he's moved on. Like, he's gone.
Right.
But I still have like these, then I have two really good deer come in and I'm like,
right,
I really want to shoot you. Like, but still in the back of my mind, I'm like, he could come back any minute.
That's right.
And it looked like, now I'm looking back and I'm like, dude, I passed two really good mature deer that should have been shot because I was too obsessed over this one deer.
Well, you have to accept that you're probably not going to kill a deer every year when you're hunting the top 1% of the whole species.
Yeah.
When you're targeting the top % of the species, you're not going to kill a deer every year.
Yeah.
I mean, Lee Ellis, he could kill a deer every year. Lee Lukoski, he's going to kill a deer every year. I'm not going to kill that deer every year. And, you know, hopefully I get to the point in my hunting career where I am that deadly, where it is a death sentence, like Lee said, but man, I'm not there yet.
Right.
So it's still like, it's so fun. And when it actually does come together, man.
Well, and going back to those guys in our conversation earlier, like, they have put so much effort into their properties.
That's right.
That they have more than one big buck. Like,
that's right.
the difference between, you know, kind of us and them is like, I might have 180, maybe, right. But they have 2 or 3 or 4 180s.
But still, having 180 is better than almost 99% of everyone.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not complaining. But that's just the difference. And like, you know, we're targeting 1 or 2 deer.
That's right.
They have a hit list of like, all right, well, here's 10 deer between 180 and 200 that we're going to kill.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you just have to be appreciative for at least the chance to hunt a mature deer. No, that's what I try to, you know, it's hard. It's hard to stay grounded in that. I'm probably the biggest hypocrite in the world. Like, when I'm not chasing the big deer, I feel broke. You know, like, I'm like, I ain't got nothing going for me.
Yeah.
You know, but when you're chasing a big deer, it gives you a reason to get up at 4 a.m. to go hunting every day, and gives you a purpose to do everything right and do all the little things right.
See, I'm dude, and it's funny because, like I said, I work in the world of Pope and Young, but like, homeboy don't pass 125s.
Right.
Like, I just like to kill stuff.
Yeah,
I like to hunt, enjoy the hunt.
Yep.
I would rather, and again, I don't ever want to make it a stress for me.
Right.
Now, don't get me wrong. Like, again, part of what I love about it is the stress of putting all the work into it.
Yeah.
But I also don't, like, I don't want to get to that point where it's like, I can't even enjoy this because I'm too worried about.
Right. And I have stress.
Match.
I mean, I have stress when I'm hunting one deer, and it's not external stress. It's all internal, because to me, I just want to prove to myself that I can do what I want to do.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I want to be a killer, man. Like, I just got to prove to myself that I am a killer and that I can go after and, you know, pick one of these bucks and hunt him specifically, and kill him. And it's so, I mean, I think everyone has stress in their own ways.
Yeah.
I don't try to make it like, oh, I just want an Instagram post because I hate that. I'm just stressed. I just want to prove to myself that it's like you are who you say you are.
Right.
You are hunting big deer and you're killing big deer consistently.
It's funny that you say that about, Instagram. And I've oftentimes said, if you're worried about the picture you're going to take before you've even killed it, you're doing it for the wrong reasons.
Yep.
And that's why I made the commitment this year that no matter what deer I kill, I don't care if it's a 180, I don't care if it's a forky.
Right.
I'm not even going to post a picture of it.
That's right.
Because I'm not doing this for anybody else in this room.
That's right.
I'm doing this for me.
And I think most guys would be better off just deleting social media in the season. Because comparison is the thief of joy. Like if you're having a 140-inch deer and you're hunting them hard and it makes you excited to go hunt that deer, and then you see other guys that are, killing 170s or 180s, you're like, just naturally you're going to think, well, I'm less than. Well, but if you just don't compare, you're fine.
Here's what people don't understand. And it's impossible to wrap their mind around it because, again, everybody on social media is shooting a 180 but me.
That's right. That's what it feels like.
They make you think that there's a 180 behind every tree and they're killing them all. Man. The percentage of people that will shoot a 140, because you use that number, the percentage of bow hunters that are going to shoot a 140 is like 3%.
Right.
Of all bow hunters in the world,
yep.
the percentage of people that's going to shoot a 140 is like 2%.
Right.
And like that, when you think that way, it's like, man, why would I compare myself so much? You know? But it's hard.
There's no level playing field. I mean, you can't shoot what's not there. Sometimes a farmer's going to have a ton of big deer on it a year, and then that same farm next year might not have might have just an old bully buck. And so that's the other part. It's like, hunting the most mature deer on the farm. It's fun to chase age.
Yeah.
Not inches all the time. My late season target was probably 105 inches, I bet, at the most. But he was 7.5 years old. He's a bully buck, and I mean, he's been kicking my tail all late season. But that's the deer that I was trying to kill. So
sometimes my target deer, and this sounds funny, becomes a doe.
Right.
Like the biggest, oldest, maturest.
The one that's blowing at you.
Always blowing at you.
Yeah, that's right.
Always just can ruin a hunt, you know.
That's right.
Then you're like, okay, how do I kill you?
Right.
And sometimes you realize, like, dude, those does are harder to kill than any buck you've ever chased.
Well, a lot of times they're older than,
And they've always got the girls with them. They've always got, I mean, it's impossible, dude. And you learn who they are because you're like, okay, the moment you even came into this field, you always made sure you were feeding to the direction of looking at me.
Right.
And like, you knew what you were doing.
Well, that's their only responsibility is to survive.
Yeah.
A deer's only responsibility is to survive. We have to pay the bills. We have to, do all these external things. A deer, all it's trying to do is eat, sleep, and survive. I think we get that twisted up sometimes, and we try to make the deer overcomplicated. It's not rocket science. Do the deer have a spot to bed? Do they have a spot to, eat? And can they breathe? If all of those three things, I mean, the cookie's going to crumble how it does.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's any secrets, especially in this day and age with the amount of information that's available. It just doesn't feel like there's any secrets, at least.
So where all did you kill a buck this year?
Kansas.
That's the only place?
Yeah. I just hunted in Iowa and Kansas.
Oh, okay.
I missed a buck in Iowa. I shouldn't have been hunting him, but I did.
Why do you say that?
He made a fool out of me. He was a lot younger than I thought he was. Well, no, I can't. I'm lying there. I knew he was young. I convinced myself he wasn't.
Okay.
And I hunted him and I missed him. And I think that was God's way of telling me I shouldn't have.
Slow down, big dog.
You shouldn't be hunting that deer. But no, I went down and hunted with my good friend in Kansas and just had an absolute awesome hunt. We were in deer every day. I think I saw a mature buck.
What part of Kansas?
Like East Central, I would call it.
Because the weather sucked.
Yeah, it was hot. I mean, it wasn't great.
Yeah.
It rained like 2 out of the 3 days. But the day that I killed, it was raining and I woke up.
What time frame is this? November?
November 23rd.
You hit it on the head, dude.
Yeah. So I got up and it was raining and I was going to sit in the ground blind. I was like, man, I really don't want to go hunt in the rain. And get there. And I mean, there's a lot of bucks that were on the hit list for that hunt because I was just hunting a mature deer. And with Kansas being a 1 buck state, there are a lot of mature deer that are maybe bully bucks or anything like that.
Yeah.
But so I'm sitting there, I rattled, kind of feeling sorry for myself a little bit. And here comes this buck. And I mean, everyone always says it can have 30 seconds can change your season.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happened. And he came in, I shot him, he ran 100 yards and tipped over. And I'm like, that was quick. So, I mean, but I had 2 months before that where I saw 2 or 3 mature bucks per sit. It was crazy.
Do you have much history with Kansas? You hunted there a lot?
No, this is my first time. I've turkey hunted in Kansas, but never deer hunted.
The reason I ask is because I had said for years, from the moment I moved there 12 years ago now.
Yeah.
From the moment I moved there, I had said November 7th. If you had to pick one day, it would be November 7th.
Right.
And now, I think that day has gotten pushed further and further back.
Yeah.
And now the reason I said you hit it is because the 20th through the 25th, those 5 days are money. And don't get me wrong, the 7th is still a super exciting day. The 7th through the 13th is just insane. You're going to see bucks doing crazy stuff.
Right.
You're going to see them dead sprinting and just hoofing it, scrapes, rubs. You're going to hear crazy things, see crazy. It's a cool day to be in the stand, but they're almost going too nuts that it's hard to hunt them.
Well, the thing about the 23rd in that time frame is the bucks are looking for that last available doe that's an estrus. They're covering a lot of ground, and that's all they want to do is breed. They don't care about food. They don't care about bedding. They're on their feet.
They don't even care about you.
20 hours a day. They're out desperately seeking.
Yep.
And early November is awesome, but they can get locked down really quick and go from doe to doe to doe days on end.
Well, and that's the reason that I think it's continued to move back later to that 20th time frame. Because if you've only got a couple does left in heat,
that's right.
It's a lot easier to hunt. But when there's every doe is in heat and they're running and gunning and chase, they can't even keep their head straight. It's hard to hunt them, man. So I think you hit it perfect. If you've got taxidermy in your house, any shape, form, or fashion, doesn't matter. Euro mounts, full body mounts, turkey fans, I don't care. If you've got any kind of taxidermy, or if you want to prep your animals in the field in order to get the best taxidermy work done possible, you need to check out Velvet Antler Technologies. Listen, it is not just for velvet antlers. Do not tune me out and say, well, I don't chase velvet bucks. I don't kill velvet bulls. It does not matter. If you want to preserve your trophies in the field, whitetail, antelope, bear hides, if you want to preserve your trophy in the field and get it to the taxidermist in the best shape possible, they've got products for that. If you want to get those European mounts as white as possible, they've got products for that. If you want to take care of your trophies while they're on the wall, keep them clean, keep the bugs out of them, they've got products for that. If you've got blood in your clothes from packing out those animals, they've got you covered. Or if you want to do some turkey fans, they've got you covered. Hanging the Euro mounts on the wall, they've got you covered. They're your one-stop shop for all things trophies and all things field care in order to get your trophies looking the best they can. Guys, go check out Velvet Antler Technologies before you go on your next hunt and ensure you get your trophy back in the best condition possible. You ever use decoys? The only reason I ask, I got a decoy over my shoulder here and it made me ask.
Yeah, we hunted with decoys, or actually hunted with decoys more this year than I ever have.
I love decoy hunting.
Yeah, it was awesome. And I do a lot of self-filming. So in the moment of truth, I need something for the deer to be distracted on other than me and stand with 100 moving parts. And so I've had a lot of success with trying to get bucks to close the distance on a decoy in a food plot. And then in Kansas, we hunted with a decoy, and that's what we struggled with. We just could not get them to make that last 20-yard commitment. And so the day that I killed, we ditched it. And then, of course, the buck comes right in and I killed him.
What's your tips on using a decoy?
I'm not the guy to ask. I mean, every time I put the decoy out, I ask my buddy, I'm like, did I do this right? But I feel like nobody is the guy to ask. That's the problem. I mean, I want to find somebody who is just a absolute stud at decoying deer. I put it like 30 yards away, not facing directly at me, but
Quartering two.
Yeah, quartering two.
Yep.
And the deer will circle downwind of the decoy and try to come nose to nose with him.
Yep.
And I mean, a lot of times if you watch them, like on Owen Riegler's hunt this year, like the buck's going to come up and like nudge him a little bit. And you just want him to be broadside at that point to get a shot off.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's any rocket science to that either. I think, the deer's either going to commit or he's not. It's not like, it's just like turkeys. You're either going to come in and smoke the decoy and stand on him or they're going to skirt it and not commit.
Have you ever heard the theory about popping one antler off?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if it's just because my decoys are junk, but all of them only have one antler. We usually have one antler, one ear. My decoy game isn't too serious, but it's worked.
Huh. No, I want to find somebody. I've been wanting to do a podcast on decoying deer for
Steve's
a long
good
time.
at it.
Steve, you know how to decoy deer?
I've tried.
You just buy old Hank. That's how
I get annoyed of carrying the thing.
They're loud.
Yeah,
That's the problem.
loud,
Yeah.
But
that's why you leaving the ground blind. That's what
That's what I
do.
always
to
do
tell you the
too.
truth, half the time that I don't bring it out, especially during a good rut hunt. It's
Yeah.
when
You wish you had it.
That's
I wish I had
exactly
it. Yeah.
right.
every time.
That's exactly right.
No, but the biggest tip I've ever been given on decoys is, and it kind of goes with, it's kind of a tip for rattling as well. It's kind of a tip for anything. Like the more of different things you add, the better. So like if you
Right.
have sound with no visual, it's harder.
Yep.
If you've got a visual with no sound, it's harder.
That's right.
If you've got a visual with no smell, it's harder. If you've got a smell with no visual, it's harder. Like,
Right.
so the more of those pieces that you work together with, the more effective it becomes.
I think you could have the visual with movement. If you could get a deer decoy that moved, like whether it was his tail flickering or his
You mean
head,
old Hank, his tail flickers?
does it? Well, then there
Yeah.
you go. I think that would be a game
Yeah.
changer. I know in some states, I don't know what it is. Maybe you can't have motorized movement or something.
But no, like the old Hank that I was talking about, super effective price point on that decoy. Which, dude, some decoys are like ungodly.
Yeah, the DSDs are like $600.
Which I ran one, and I it works. Obviously,
I've heard a lot of good things.
It looks like stinking taxidermy. Like
Yeah,
you're
I
like,
know.
dude, who is your taxidermist on this deer? It looks super realistic. It is super heavy.
right.
So like you're not, in
around.
Kansas, if you gotta go in, sometimes you gotta walk, and not that it's far, not that it's, got elevation, but
Right.
there's only one tree row and it's 600 yards across that wheat field.
Yep.
So sometimes you gotta go 600 yards across the wheat field, and that thing gets exhausting to carry.
Right.
So it's super heavy. It is quiet, I'll say that, because it's got that rubber body, so there's nothing like banging around in
Yep.
it, nothing moving around in it. But what got me on the old Hank, price point, and then the flicker tail,
Gotcha.
because it's just a loose fabric almost.
Yep.
The wind just keeps it kind of flickering. And dude, I have seen deer and they'll look at it, but the moment they catch the flicker, it's
Just
like,
a little
okay,
movement. Yep.
I'm going.
It's like a turkey decoy when you have the fan in it.
Yeah.
Maybe spins just a touch. It just adds so much realism.
Yeah. So that would be my goal, is like just the more pieces, not my goal, my tip.
Right.
The more pieces that you add together, the more successful it's going to be.
Yep.
That's kind of how I've always thought about things. Like I'm not gonna use scent unless I have a decoy. I'm not gonna use a decoy unless I'm gonna call. I'm
That's
not gonna and just try to add those pieces together of the puzzle. So what's next for you, man? What again? I know you're kind of just you said this time of year I'm just taking a break, breathing. But what do you start? What's your next?
I'll start shed hunting a bunch, probably end of January, early February. And then we do a Nebraska turkey hunt every year with the Elevate team and then Jared Mills. And so we'll be there probably at late March, maybe do a couple turkey hunting states. I did a couple giveaways for turkey hunts, just to some local like youth organizations or whatever. I'm going to film their hunts. And then this August, we're going to Alaska on a caribou hunt. So I'm really looking forward to that. And then hopefully maybe Wyoming elk after that, and South Dakota mule deer is kind of my plans for next year.
Nice, man. How do you balance, or what's your goal in balancing? Like, because you said like it always just comes back to whitetail. So how do you balance like I want to get out and try new things, but this is my passion?
I just look at my cell cam app every single day that I'm out there. It's something different. It's like, once again, proving to yourself that, hey, you can drop me off anywhere. I'm coming out with an animal.
Yeah.
And it's like, I want to get better at that. I love the challenge of going to the mountains, learning how to hunt and learning new tactics and strategies, how to implement them back home. And so
the reason I asked that is it's a hard line to draw,
right.
I feel like if I go on an elk hunt, the years I go on an elk hunt, it's like dude, I'm so behind the 8 ball on whitetails now. You
Right.
know what I mean? And then it's like, okay, well, if I only hunt whitetails, it's like, man, I really missed that Western spot and
Right.
stalk piece
Yep.
of what I wanted to do. So
Seems like,
it's
I mean,
kinda,
the elk hunting deal is kind of during a weird time of the whitetail season. Like in middle of September, your food plots for the most part should be done. You're not putting any mineral out anymore. You're still running cameras that, they all should be batteried up at that point in the season. So it's kind of like honestly, like a step away from whitetail. Like, okay, I'm going to leave for a week. When I come back, it's game on.
yeah.
And that's kind of how I look at it. Almost giving yourself a break a little bit.
I'll tell you how I found the balance is if I don't go on an elk hunt, I try to do really stupid stuff in the whitetail woods.
That's right. Just get out of this.
What I mean by that is like like this year I'm like, all right, I'm gonna spot and stalk a doe and just kill her.
Yep.
And I'm like, how's this gonna work in Kansas? Like, I don't know, but I'm gonna make it work.
Right.
And so it's like belly crawled this creek ditch and then popped up and shot her.
Yeah.
But it's like that still gave me like the whole like spot and stalk. It scratched that itch for me,
Yep,
So
absolutely.
Well, cool, man. Where can they follow you and find more of your content at?
Yeah, I think all my YouTube is probably my most active page, whatever, and that's just Ethan Stubbs on YouTube. Instagram is Ethan.Stubbs. So everything is just my name. So if you look me up, feel free to reach out with any questions or anything like that.
Yeah.
I get a ton of questions on camera stuff all the time. So happy to be a resource on anything especially into the stuff behind us, this 2.0 gear. If you guys got any questions at all, feel free to reach out.
Yeah. How'd you get into 2.0? What made you land there?
I knew Aaron before from different things. And then just kind of slowly started working with Blocker on the turkey side of things. And then, they kind of said, hey, we're coming out with a new pattern and we really, want to work together on it. And so that's it just was pretty natural, organic.
I'm glad you brought up Aaron. Because in my opinion, what makes this company so special is the people.
That's right.
They're all just great dudes. And if you've listened to this podcast at all, I'm more of a people person than I am a company. Like I would rather, if you've got two products side by side and one's a little lesser of quality and I don't like it as much, but the people are great. That's what I want to work with. And
that's what I look for in a partner.
I did not say that to say that Scentlock's a lesser company or Nexus is a lesser company. But the people are great.
That's right.
2.0 is the finest gear on planet Earth. So definitely, if you've got any questions, reach out about his favorite pieces. They've dropped some new exciting pieces here at ATA. So if you haven't checked out the 2.0 page to see all the new pieces, they've been doing videos covering the new pieces. So go check that out. There are very few things that I have with me every time I'm in the outdoors, whether I am upland hunting, deer hunting, elk hunting, just out shooting my bow, out checking trail cameras, very few things that are always with me. One thing that I always have with me is my binocular harness. And I searched the world for what I felt to be the best binocular harness. In my opinion, there's a fine line in binocular harnesses. Either you get a lot of space for everything you need, but they're big, bulky, and heavy, or they're super streamlined and I just don't have space for everything that I want to have on my chest. Alaska Guide Creations makes phenomenal harnesses. Guys, I wear them all the time. I wear my harness probably every day at some point in my day. And so comfortability is important to me. The way that it stays put where I want it is important to me, but also having enough compartments and being able to move things around modularly to fit it where I want it is also really important to me. I want my rangefinder in a certain place. I want my knife in a certain place. I want my binos to fold out in a certain way. And with Alaska Guide Creations, they have a full line of binocular harnesses that you can make exactly how you want them. I can put different pockets right where it's going to work best for me and my system. Guys, Alaska Guide Creations is the best, hands down, in my opinion, harness you can get, and take it from a guy who pretty much lives in them. Go check out Alaska Guide Creations for your next and your last bino harness. But guys, thank you so much for listening. Have a fantastic week and keep the dusty side up.